Inside the tree, Ash was sitting near the crystal where the spirit of his old mentor was enclosed. His Pokemon and him had learned what happened to Sir Aaron just minutes after they appear in the tree the first time. After Mew had spirited him away from the hunters, Ash had found his mentor's old gloves. One time flower later, Lucario and him had learned what really caused his master's death. He didn't have time to grieve before Mew came back and start glowing. At that time, everything went black. And now, he just wakes up almost 800 years later. It wasn't fair. All his friends, his queen, his country, all gone. Tears then start leaking from his eyes again. He didn't know what to do anymore. The world must have changed a great bit since his time and he will stand up like a sore thumb. This time wasn't his own and he feel like a complete stranger. He stood up and went to the entrance of the heart of the tree and look outside. He could still see the great castle of Cameron from where he was, but something was strange. The castle looked different. Something have changed and he couldn't figure what. Before he could do that, a noise make him turn around. Mew was back with a basket full of berries. She also had some strange bottles with liquid in it. The legendary was keen to make him strong again. After so much time in the crystal, he was feeling a little weak physically speaking. He wipes the tears away before kneeling in front of the basket. He then share the berries between him and his 3 friends. The bottles, after verification, contains nothing more than water. While he and his Pokemon were eating, Ash was looking everywhere around him. He feel watched by something but he doesn't know what. After they ate, Ash rise up and start walking around a little. The Oron berries have helped him a little for regaining a little energy, but it will not be enough for long. Unlike the Pokemon, he could not survive on berries alone. Someday, he will have to venture in the open world and that scare him senseless. The adventure sound enticing but not what he feared to discover. What happened to the kingdom of Rhoda while he was sleeping? With him gone, were they safe from the hunters? He decide then that, as soon as he feel better, he would ask Mew to bring them to Cameron Palace. Maybe not tonight or during the day, but he should feel better the next night. Mew has left them for a little while. She assure them that she will return the next day. Ash understand that the little pink cat-like Pokemon must have used a tremendous amount of energy to wake him and his friends, and she must want to sleep a little while. In his opinion, she can take all the time she need. He wasn't in a hurry to get out either. Even with the berries, he felt a little weak. He then sit near a big crystal and try to meditate. It wasn't his favorite activity even when his mentor taught him, but he feel the need to calm his mind. It wasn't long before Lucario joined him in his meditation while Pikachu was exploring the cavern with Ponyta. After a time, Ash cited. I'm not able to meditate, Lucario. My mind is in too much turmoil. What will happen to us now? I have no idea how the world have changed and I'm not able to calm my mind with that fact. Ash said, feeling down. Stay strong, Master. We will prevail. We just need a little help from you and other Pokemon. With time, you will get used to this new world. It will be a new experience to all of us. I know, Lucario. And stop calling me Master. I'm your friend, not your master. Sir Aaron was your master and I miss his reassuring presence more than ever. What would he do in this situation? He would have reacted much better than me, I'm sure. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm scared out of my mind right now, Lucario. Says Ash with a shaking voice. Lucario then rise and sit just next to him, hugging the young boy with one arm. Ash was shaking. Pikachu then come and jump in his friend's arms. Ponyta follow soon and put herself on the ground near her master. Lucario then speak to Ash. We are here with you, Master, and we will not leave your side. We are in this together. You will never be alone in this world and we will do everything to protect and help you. You can count on us, says the blue jackal Pokemon. Ash then look at Pikachu and Ponyta. The 2 Pokemon looked back at him and nodded. That simple reassurance brought a smile to Ash's face. He didn't deserve such good friends and partners. He hugged them before speaking again. Thank you. What did I do to deserve such good friends? And you're right, Lucario, we are in this together. I will never leave your side either, says Ash, feeling a little better. It wasn't long before sleep claimed the young guardian. Even after so much time in the crystal, he was feeling a little out of it and needed time to return to his former self. Lucario and the others organized the watch. Pikachu would take the first and would wake Ponyta in a few hours. After that, Ponyta would keep watch and wake Lucario for his shift. They would protect their master's sleep. He need it. At the same time, Lance get out of the mess where the images of the drones were studied. He was followed by Cynthia and Will. He was about to call his Dragonite and Cynthia, her Garchomp, when will stop them. Of course, he still want to bring the poor lad at the camp, but there was a point that his two friends should consider. The reaction of the boy. Last time the boy had interaction with other humans, they had wanted to kill him. And now, he had slept almost 8 centuries since that time. He won't trust them that easily. And that is without saying that Mew could still be at the tree and she would probably want to protect the boy too. Lance, how would we approach him? He won't trust us easily. And with good reason if we thought of his last encounter with humans. Will said. I know, Will. We must act delicately. It would be preferable if we can catch his Pokemon in Pokeballs without his notice. Of course, they will still be his. I don't intend to take his only friends away. Lance said, thoughtful. Did any of you have a Pokemon who know the move Sleep Powder or Sing? I have Altaria with me who knows Sing. We put them to sleep the time we brought him here. We can explain the situation after he wakes up. It's a good plan. The only problem I could see is Mew. I don't think that this move will work on her. And she probably won't take our intrusion kindly. Said Cynthia. What if I use hypnosis with one of my Pokemon? Will ask. Of course, I will need a lift to the tree. I don't have any flying Pokemon on me. I will lend you Aerodactyl. He is not the most discreet but he can fly pretty fast. Originally, I had borrowed Altaria from my cousin Claire but I suppose she won't be too upset if I use her. Lance said. The 3 champion and Elite Four agreed between them and called their Pokemon. They would have to be fast since the tree would probably want to chase them away. They were not guardians so it could be dangerous for them. But they didn't want to wait too long. If they wait, it was a risk that a criminal organization heard about what has happened. Lance knew only too well that a certain amount of money could buy anything. If the big guns of Team Rocket heard about that, the boy will be in a great danger. It would be worse since the poor lad know practically nothing about this time period. Of course, he was a guardian and all but he was also a young boy. He would need help to understand everything around him. After a time, the 3 were ready to go. Lance on his Dragonite, Cynthia on her Garchomp and Will on Lance's Aerodactyl. It wasn't very long before they arrive at destination. Lance sent Altaria first so she could sing without making them fall asleep too. She was still a young Pokemon and she couldn't control her song very well. In the students' camp, the students of the Pokemon Academy were sent back to their lodgings after the champions and Elite Four member left. While en route, some of them couldn't help but discuss what they just saw. The last Aura Guardian was alive and a boy their age too. While they knew that the last Guardian was their age, they didn't expect him to still be alive after all this time. Clemont and May sent their younger siblings to bed while they sit with the older students. Max protested a little but May threatened to tell about him to their parents and the boy then obey her and go to bed. As for Bonnie, she was already almost asleep on her brother's shoulders so she posed no problem. The older students then sit around the campfire and stay silent for a very long time. They were in disbelief of what happens that night. The launch of the drones was great but they never expect this kind of discovery. After a moment, Gary Oak start talking. Do you think that he will stay at the academy with us? He asked. What do you mean, Gary? Asked Don. Well, the champion says that he could be in danger if criminals learn about him so, I just thought that they would hide him at the academy. After all, where would you hide a 15-years-old boy if not with other 15-years-old boys? Gary explained. That's not a crazy plan. Of course, he would need help to adapt to this time but I'm sure he would receive help. Kenny says. Surely but I wonder how he would react to all the inventions that men created. I mean, he surely never seen a plane before or a bus. I'm afraid he would be very disoriented at first. Clemont added. No shit, Sherlock. Commented Drew. I just hope he would keep his cool. We don't need him to freak out each time he sees something he can't explain. That would become very problematic very fast. Yeah, well, I think we should all go to bed and see what tomorrow bring. All right, everyone, time to some shut eyes. We will reconvene here in the morning, says Brock. All the students then rise and return to their lodging for the night. Many hopes to meet the guardian the next day. Of course, they won't go all in the same time. They didn't want him to freak out. At the tree of beginning, Ash was sleeping when a little noise disturbed him. Pikachu was quickly before him, ready to launch a powerful thunder attack to the trespasser. Lucario and Ponyta awaken at the same time than Ash. The young guardian look around nervously when a little Pokemon land before him. Altaria. Ho, hello little one. Ash answered, a little surprised. Where did you come from, young one? He had guessed that the little flying Pokemon before him was quite young. His own Pokemon relaxed when the little one land. It was just a little one. But where did he come from? Ash look around to see if others like this little cutie was around when the young Pokemon start to sing. His song was so relaxing. Lucario relax a little before he connect 2 and 2. The moves sing who make everyone around fall asleep. He tried to stop it but after so long in the crystal, he wasn't strong enough to stop the little Altaria. It wasn't long before their eyes start closing. Ash tried to resist the lullaby but after a time, his eyes closed too and he fall in a deep sleep. Pikachu and Ponyta were also asleep. After her performance, the little cotton bird fly away to her trainer. Lance was waiting with Cynthia and Will. The champion of Sinnoh had a little suitcase with Pokeballs in it. The little Altaria soon returned to them and seemed very proud of herself. When Lance asked her if Mew was there, the little bird says no. She had not seen the legendary in the heart of the tree. Only a boy and 3 Pokemon. And they were all sleeping soundly when she left. Lance congratulated her before returning her. It's time. Let's go, he said before going. He was soon followed by the other 2. They land at the heart of the tree. Their Pokemon stand ready to go after they left them. Cynthia and Will use the Pokeballs to capture Lucario, Pikachu and Ponyta while Lance goes to the young boy. The Pokeballs return to the suitcase and Lance take Ash in his arms. He was slightly disturbed by the fact that the boy was too light to his liking. Too short too for a boy of 15. Will rejoin him and take the Aura Staff with him. It wasn't long before they rejoined their Pokemon and the now group of 4 people and 3 Pokemon retake to the sky. Lance was holding Ash carefully so he would not fall. He was a little worried about the health of the boy. As soon as they arrive in the camp, he would ask for a full health check by the resident nurse Joy. For the moment, the young guardian was sleeping soundly in his arms. The camp was soon in their sights and the Pokemon land near their lodging. Lance returned Dragonite and Aerodactyl after thanking them and Cynthia did the same with Garchomp. Lance take the direction of the temporary Pokemon Center with Ash. Will and Cynthia followed too. They opened the door for him since he had his arms full. He put Ash on a bed while Cynthia called for the nurse. Nurse Joy entered with her Chauncey. What can I do for you, Mr. Lance, sir? It is a little late for a Pokemon battle, no. I'm sorry to come so late, Nurse Joy, but I want a full health check of this young boy and if you can also make a health check on his 3 Pokemon, that would be greatly appreciated. Lance said. Of course, sir. Right away, says the nurse before she start working. The 3 Pokeballs were put in the health machine while she examined Ash. The nurse took off the hat, cloak, gloves and boots so the boy could be more comfortable. She then launched the scanner over him. The scanner goes up and down his sleeping form and examine everything. She then took a syringe and come closer to the boy. She would need a little of his blood for analysis but was afraid that the poor lad would wake if she do that. She then decided to give him a little sedative so he wouldn't wake before the night was over. After that, she took some blood without waking up the boy. She returned to the Champions and Elite Four member after everything was covered. The health machine had also finished with the Pokemon. She was then approached by Champion Lance. So, Nurse Joy, what can you tell me about the boy's health? He asked. Well, surprisingly enough, his health is not bad. He is just a little on the short size. For the moment, he would need plenty of rest and a good diet to get over what he has endured. I suggest you start with what he was used to eat in his time and gradually presented him with food from our time. His stomach will need a little time to adapt for the food here and, please, no candy. You don't want him in a sugar rush. So plenty of rest and good food and he should feel better in a few days. For his 3 Pokemon, they are healthy now, the nurse replied. Thank you. When would he wake up? Asked Lance. I gave him a mild sedative so he should wake in the morning. Did you need anything else? Asked Nurse Joy. No, thank you. I would transfer him to a more comfortable setting, said Elpance. He then took the boy in his arms while Cynthia take care of his Pokemon and clothes and Will, his staff. They take him to the big caravan they were lodged in for the occasion. Lance put him in his own bed and sit beside him. While he was taking the boy to the caravan, they were discussing the watching pattern. Lance would take first guard, followed by Will and Cynthia will finish the night. She was sure that the boy would wake while it would be her turn and she didn't want to miss it. A feminine presence would maybe calm him more too. Morning came slowly after that. Ash began to wake slowly. The first thing who returned to him was touch. He was sleeping on something soft. It wasn't overly soft like his bed in Cameron Palace, but it was better than the ground. He started to move a little and discover that he had a blanket on. How strange. He didn't remember having a blanket when he fall asleep. Then his other senses start waking too. Something was cooking near and it smelled very good. His stomach makes some noises to signal that he was a little hungry. He finally opened his eyes and looked around. There was a beautiful lady sitting beside him. She had kind eyes and long blonde hair. He tried to rise but his movements were very sluggish. What? Who are you? Asked Ash, a little disoriented. My name is Cynthia, sweetie. Don't be afraid, you're safe here. Your 3 Pokemon are also safe. Don't worry, you will see them soon enough. In the meantime, are you hungry? My friend will just finished cooking breakfast. The lady asked. Ash's manner came up while he nodded to her question. He was hungry and he also felt weak. The lady helped him sit and he could then see around. She wasn't alone. 2 men were with her. A man with bright orange hair and another one who seemed a little shifty. Ash had no difficulty identifying a psychic. They were all strange even in his time. The lady brought his food to him. Thank you, Lady Cynthia, says Ash. I'm not a lady but thank you for the compliment, sweetie. Now eat. You need it, says Cynthia with a smile. While Ash was eating he was also searching for his stuff. He saw that he didn't have his hat, cloak, boots and gloves with him when he wake. What have they done with his possessions? One of the man, the one with orange hair and a cloak saw his movements and start talking. Your stuff is just here, he said while opening a cabinet. All his things were neatly packed. We wanted you to be comfortable while you sleep so we put your stuff in here. And my name is Lance by the way. This is Will, in case you were wondering. Oh, then thank you, Sir Lance, said Ash. But where am I? Where are my 3 friends? Are they all right? Just Lance, son. And yes, they are all right. You will see them very soon. When we discover your presence at the Tree of Beginning, we had to act fast to protect you. Add Lance. Protect me. From what? Asked Ash. From the many criminal organizations that pollute the area. If they had found you before us, they would have no shame to use you and your power over Aura. As far as I know, they are what you called Aura hunters in your time. The only thing that change about them is that instead of killing the Aura user, they experiments on him or her and uses their power for their own gain. And, their goal is none other than world domination. So, to protect you, we had to act fast and brought you here. We are sorry if we had to put you to sleep but it was better that way, said Lance. Ash stay silent before his explanations. His senses tells him that the man was honest. Ash haven't detect any lies in his explanation and his apology was sincere. If he was honest with himself, he would have probably attacked them first when they arrived to the tree. Maybe this kind of encounter was for the better. At least, he was there now safe and sound. But how much time would he stay safe? That was a good question. I believe you, sir. But how much time will I stay safe? I know that the Aura hunters in my time were a resourceful bunch. Are they as resourceful in this time as well? Asked Ash. I'm afraid the answer is yes. But the Pokemon League will protect your existence as long as we can. Says the second man, Will. The Pokemon League. What's that? Ask Ash, curious. Lance sighed. The explanation will take a very long time. After all, they had almost 800 years of history to cover. He let Will and Cynthia start and add certain facts during the next 3 hours. During that time, Ash was educated on the history of this time. So many things happens, in so little time. The most hurtful was the abandonment of Rhoda. What stay of this once mighty kingdom was just ruins now. His house was no more. Ash remembered that, when they talk about Rhoda, his eyes became tearful. Cynthia then sit with him and hug him. It surprised him a little, but he relaxed in her embrace soon after. Her intentions were genuine. She really want to console him. Don't worry, sweetie. You will have a new home here. We will make sure of that. Cynthia promised. Thank you. I feel so alone. Everything I know seems so unfit for this time. I mean, I don't think that people need to know how to shoot with a bow or fight with a sword here. I know how to cook but not use what you called a computer, whatever that is. And Pokeballs. Isn't that a little cruel to put my friends in there? What if they broke? Ash said, a little lost. Cynthia smiled at him and reassured him. He will get used to this time very fast. They will make sure of it. He seemed like a very smart boy. She was sure he will learn fast. Lance and Will seems to agreed with her assessment. While Will and Cynthia were explaining history to the boy, Lance started thinking about what to do with the lad. They couldn't keep him in a room somewhere. It would be like a prison to him, and a boy of this age need fresh air and adventure. After a time, an idea started appearing in his head. The Pokemon Academy. They could hide the boy there with the other kids. But is it safe for the others? He would have to talk with Professor Oak about this. At the same time, elsewhere, a man with an orange suit was in a dark office in a secret base. He was consulting some documents about the operations of his group. His name was Giovanni and he was the leader of Team Rocket, the biggest crime organization in the Kanto region. He was just drinking a cup of coffee when his secretary came and put a file on his desk. It came from his secret agent in the Cameron excavation. He opened the file and started reading. Everything seems normal until he arrived in the last pages. What? He shouted in disbelief. The images of Mew and of another figure. A young boy in the garb of the Aura Guardian. The last Guardian was alive. And he just appeared now. This fact need investigation. And fast. If the facts were real, the boy's powers over Aura could help his plans greatly.